Well, anti-Semitic sentiments appear to be getting louder. Last month, anti-Semitic comments by celebrities like Kanye West and Kyrie Irving caused a national uproar. But as you remember, Ye's comments also prompted some people to hang Nazi symbols over the 405 freeway locally. And in 2021, anti-Semitic hate crimes reached an all-time high. Experts say education is one of the best ways to fight anti-Semitism. An Auschwitz survivor teamed up with a prolific author from Burbank to publish a book intended to teach children about anti-Semitism and the Holocaust. The book you see here is called I Will Protect You, a true story of twins who survived Auschwitz. And joining us live this morning to talk about the book is author Danica Davidson. Danica, thanks for being here. What an honor.
Thank you so much for having me.
You wrote this book with Eva Mozes Kor. Some people know her story. She passed away a few years ago. Can you walk us through her journey?
Yes, Eva, she was a remarkable person. She survived Auschwitz at 10, which is almost unheard of. Auschwitz was a death camp. No one was supposed to survive that, and she did. And she shows what you can accomplish at any age. After the war, she became a Holocaust educator, and people might know her from the documentary with PBS she did or her viral BuzzFeed video. When I met her, she was giving a speech in Michigan, and she learned I was a children's author, and she completely lit up. She said, "We have to reach children with these stories to do any good." She said, in America, Holocaust education usually starts at age 12 or older, if at all, in schools, and that's too late because the prejudices are already formed. So her idea was that we could do a children's book about her story and aim it for kids 8 through 12. And it's a remarkable ability to do it because it is written from a child's point of view toward other children. And most children's Holocaust stories are stories of hiding or escaping, which did happen. But this is filling a gap in Holocaust education and really showing what it was like and how she survived. And Eva and I worked really closely on this book, and she passed away just 15 days after we got a publisher for the finished manuscript. She passed away at Auschwitz doing an
Wow.
education.
Wow. And you knowing her and going through that process, I'm sure you heard all the stories. And I was watching a video this morning where Eva described the last time that she saw her mother. I mean, heartbreaking doesn't really even describe it appropriately. As an LA area native where we've seen anti-Semitic hate crimes rising, is that why it was so important for you to get her story out there?
I started noticing a rise in anti-Semitism in 2015, working as a journalist. And since then, I had been wanting to write something about it. I wasn't sure what. And that's actually what led me to Eva to see her talk. And we ended up working on a book together afterward because it just clicked into place. So I write books for children. I'm very comfortable with that age range and that voice. And that was exactly where she wanted to reach. And she's right. We've got to reach kids with this. And the book does more than just talk about the Holocaust. It goes into the history of anti-Semitism, because something like the Holocaust doesn't come out of nowhere. And the reason that we're still seeing anti-Semitism is how deeply embedded it is in Western society. And people might not even be able to recognize it when they see it, but this book will help them do that. And it talks about extremism, it talks about propaganda, it talks about conspiracy theories, all these things that are going on now. And it'll help kids recognize these things, not just in history, but as it's happening, so they can have a better idea on how to respond.
Absolutely. Is it resonating with educators? What kind of feedback are you getting to use this as an educational teaching tool?
Oh, yes, it's already starting to be used in classrooms. I grew up in Burbank, and I actually went back to my middle school teachers at Jordan Middle School and asked them what they thought of the book as educators. I showed them an early draft, and my teachers, Anita Shackman and Wayne Tipton, read early drafts, and they are thanked in the book's acknowledgments. And I also took it to Dr. Michael Berenbaum of the American Jewish University in Los Angeles. And he was just appointed by the governor to the Governor's Council on Holocaust and Genocide Education. And he read an early draft and he's endorsed the book. And they're seeing there's nothing else like this on the market for the age range. I was doing a lot of research on books on anti-Semitism, and I was seeing what was out there and what wasn't. And a lot of people hesitate to talk about the subject to kids because it is so dark. But if you're Jewish, you grow up knowing this. I was taught about the Holocaust in elementary school by my father. I remember how he taught it to me. I remember how he made it accessible. And I kept that very much in mind while writing this book. And It's written to read like a novel. This isn't like a textbook. It has a story arc, it has themes, it has symbolism, it's fast paced, it has short chapters. And then in the back, it has a glossary and a timeline to help kids along. And I wrote it that way, knowing that it wouldn't be very interesting if it were a textbook. I wanted to make this engaging on a very personal level while also weaving in the history. And Eva really liked how the book came out that way.
Yeah, and watching her videos this morning, she certainly seemed like a storyteller, taking us back to those moments. Got to ask you, what will you miss most? What will you remember most about her? I know she's been gone for a few years.
What strikes me about Eva was her strength and her feistiness. To survive Auschwitz at age 10 was both a mixture of luck and great determination, and she was absolutely determined she was going to survive. The reason she even had a chance is because she was one of the Mengele twins. If you're familiar with them, there's a Nazi doctor at Auschwitz called Mengele. He experimented on 3,000 twins, 160 survived. Eva and her sister were among them. So this is an extremely rare story. And she also hoped that our book, in addition to teaching about the Holocaust and anti-Semitism, could help abused kids know that they can rise above and they can heal after trauma. And she really shows what you can do at any age.
Yeah, I saw that clip where someone there noticed that she was a twin and called it out, you know, to make sure that they were maybe pulled aside as she was separated from her family. Okay, lastly, before we let you go, your book is available. How can people get a copy? What about teachers who want to do potentially author visits? Are those available?
Oh, I can definitely do Zoom interviews. Reach out to me through my website, which is danicadavidson.com, or you could email me, danica@danicadavidson.com. The book is available everywhere. It's in Amazon, it's at Barnes& and Noble, it's in your local independent bookstore, it's in Audible. It is available as a hardcover like this, also as an ebook and as an audiobook. And I would love it if teachers could reach out to me and see what we can do together. I think this book ought to be in a lot of curriculum to teach about the Holocaust and anti-Semitism.
Sure. Excellent work, and we wish you the best, and hopefully that does work out. Danica Davidson, the book is called I Will Protect You, a true story of twins who survived Auschwitz. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.